See, this is my channel, and I have Violeta, my bestie over here. We just got done finishing up another episode of Real Estate Jefas. If you haven't subscribed, come over to our channel, subscribe. If you listen to podcasts, we are everywhere where you can download a podcast. And today we're gonna talk about recent news that we have. Like it's another day in beautiful America, so always something happening. But I was texting Violeta the other day. I was like, "Did you hear we're buying at $200 billion of mortgage bonds?" Uncle Trump just decided that it's time to lower the interest rates. What do you think about Violeta?
Uh, yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I know that I've been seeing like some talks about like how. A matter of fact, I think was it earlier today or last night maybe, whatever. I started seeing like on that the mortgage interest rates fell below 6%. So yeah, I don't know what that means for the rest of the year. I guess it's gonna slowly trend down, which can be a good thing for like home buyers and real estate investors.
Yeah, and that was actually was it Thursday night that he like tweet. He uses X as its own news media, so he like put on X that he's about to buy $200 billion. But it was right after also he said he was going to block massive like real estate investment entities from purchasing single family homes. So he came out with that, basically blocking Lennar and BlackRock from purchasing single family homes too. Then the next day was this news of like buying 200 billions mortgage bonds. And why is that so challenging? Because the last time that we had in 2008 that we had a kaboom on the housing market was because the government went and purchased a lot of mortgages, right? And
Mhm.
so that's when we have like all of this like jumbo loans and like no income verification loans, even though the times right now are quite different, and we have way more cells and regulations prior to like applying for a loan. It's still very much going to change the market, I think, because even the next day, which was yesterday,
Mhm.
the mortgages dropped below 6%. I checked this Mortgage News Daily website that keeps track of the average throughout the nation of like, so prior to the news, we were like a 6.2 on conventional,
Mhm.
and it dropped down to 5.9. So just him like tweeting something without even having to execute it, the market responded, right? But if you look at the actual indicators, like the 10-year bond didn't move at all.
Hmm.
So this is how like it's kind of weird that we like everything is reacting to what he's just like whatever he's putting out there, the market immediately reacts.
Yeah, yeah, it's giving the similar vibes of the whole Tarot situation. As soon as he like tweeted something that he was gonna put like 100% on China or some BS, then the stock market would react, and it's crazy that now something kind of similar may be happening, and so it's a little frustrating because now it makes it harder to kind of like strategize. It's always like you're trying to like plan any exit plans or anything like that, or strategize and plan as much as possible, and of course like we don't know what the market will do, but it's a little irritating when it's just him just sending out a tweet and then the market reacts that way.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. But what happened today? The market went back up.
Oh,
That's
did it? I haven't checked yet.
yeah, mortgage daily news. Like I checked it every day. Mostly, I'm like so nosy. I'm like, what else am I gonna do? But anyways, I'm not buying, guys. I'm not buying. I put a stop onto like the buying process. So
Yeah,
that's
we
all
were
I
just talking about it in our episode that we recorded of like what we were planning, and Lynn says she's not going to buy anything this year. We'll see.
we'll see. I was telling somebody, one of the wholesalers that I bought a couple properties from last year. He reached out to me. He like sent me a deal. It was like actually a really good deal. And then I was just like, no, you can't do that to me. You can't just like jump in and like tell me like this is good for you. But anyways, um I was like, no, I'm staying put. I'm not. I promised myself I'm just not gonna get into another burr. Like you did 5 burrs last year. You're fine. Like you're fine. You don't need to do another burr.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, back
Oh,
to the topic.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think the other thing that I saw was that he was talking about being able to take out like money from your like investment retirement accounts without like penalties and stuff. Um, I can't foresee anything negative besides that you took that money out of like the account. But if you're using it for like house hacking or a burr or something like that, then you're still investing. So I think the only caveat for that, if that does come, like I haven't checked to see where it's at, uh, that to make sure that you're still try to get that money back into the stock market so you don't lose out on that. So um,
Yeah. I know that during COVID, I was not aware that this was a thing that you could
mhm,
get your money out penalty free. Not that I would have done it, but it's definitely something, you take advantage of the things that you have, the market provides, the opportunity that provides, right? So
mhm,
it's like very enticing to like touch the money, even if you don't have like a particular investment to do so, right? Like
yeah,
we started investing through the eyes of like the fire community, and like that's like basically don't ever touch the money, don't ever touch the retirement account,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like you're safe for all. But I also have touched my retirement account multiple times throughout
mhm,
my lifetime, and it's turned out to be a great decision at the time because I
mhm,
was putting money into higher investments. But I don't agree with like every American should empty their retirement accounts to like upgrade a kitchen or something like that. Like
yeah,
that's or buy a new car or but if you're truly dwelling under debt, which you do have the restrictions, like if you are like in student loans, you can take out some money or like purchase your primary residence, you can take out like $10,000. You have that exclusion. So I agree with those things. It kind of forces the average American to like save if you're contributing, of course.
yeah, yeah. And then I think the other thing that I saw that I think you kind of were talking about was that he was going to prevent like all these big corporations from buying up single family homes. So I'm curious on how they're, especially since he has some properties as well, but I think he is, I don't, that I know of, I don't think he has like, I think all his are like hotels and commercial properties. So I
Commercial.
guess it doesn't really matter to him. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how, the like how that's going to work out.
Yeah. I was looking up some data actually about that, like
Mhm,
massive, like BlackRock or Lamar or whatever, Lenark, the properties that both of them, like majority of their things are building, and they actually only account for like 3% of purchasing power and real estate.
mhm,
So I don't know who he's calling like major entities. Like, are these S corps? Are these like people that have over 100 houses, buying over 100 houses in the last year or so, like over
mhm.
500 houses? And then they were like saying also too, like, what are the big companies gonna do if they are stopped from buying single family homes? They're just gonna open up little companies under
Mhm.
a different corporation, different LLC, and then continue to purchase until they hit the limit, like 100 houses or whatever, right? It's so
Yeah.
arbitrary, like regulate. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's always a way or a loophole through it. So it's kind of like how effective is it going to be? And like you said, it's like I get the grand scheme of things is not as crazy as thought. I think other things contributed more to the housing, affordability issue. like insurance and the property taxes went crazy, and then all this other, obviously the market and stuff. So yeah, I don't know how effective that's going to be either.
Yeah. We'll see. I think that this year is going to be, for me at least, about optimizing. I think we were talking about earlier that, but for you, it's going to be scaling. So I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we'll see how this goes. The goal is to hopefully buy two. That's going to be because like last year I didn't buy because I was stabilizing, I was moving, I was like left my job, everything. So it was just too chaotic, and so I didn't want to put myself um, more at risk. Even though I definitely try, I definitely try. I was definitely looking, but I just didn't find something worthwhile. And then, especially since I was still stabilizing the other property that I had bought in at the end of 2024. So yeah, I'm just going to try to get two this year,
Yeah.
and we'll see how it goes.
And you haven't decided if it's going to be in the Midwest or near you.
So we kind of mentioned it, was talking about it in the episode, but like of how I was working on a deal, and that realtor is just like having now just sending me properties that kind of, so she sent me one yesterday here in San Antonio that might fit, what I'm looking for. The only problem is that they wanted a cash, only. But she reached out and tried to see if they'd be open to like maybe seller finance. If not, I'm just gonna go and try to maybe get a conventional loan or something like that. The only issue is because now that I left my job, I am getting income right now, but I don't know if it's going to be sufficient. I haven't gone through all my finances to see what my debt to income ratio is now, because I have those two properties, well, three properties under my name, and the third one I haven't filed taxes on it, so that's going to be this year. And
Mhm.
so probably not going to be counted if depending when I get um, the loan. So I don't know if my debt to income ratio is going to be too high, because I definitely dropped in. I went from a six-figure job to now it's like bringing in just like half of that.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so we'll see how that works out. So we'll see if they're open to that. That'd be um, willing. Their realtor said maybe, because they haven't had luck with the properties, which is another thing that I have been noticing, because I've been just kind of like glancing and looking and window shopping basically. Is I have been seeing like properties coming down, they're sitting a little bit longer, and with this deal that fell through, like a lot of negotiating was happening, where like before it was just like, oh, you have to kind of like, try
Oh,
to, yeah, be the best one right away. And this one was a lot of back and forth, meaning that the sellers are more willing to negotiate. They were still doing like where they were paying like some closing costs, like the realtor fee and all that stuff, the commission fee. So I think it's more balanced right now, at least in the two markets that I'm in.
yeah. Yeah, and then I think I ran into the same problem last year, where my debt to income ratio, because multiple properties were under my name, and then I also have a property in Los Angeles, my debt to income ratio overpassed, right? And I started purchasing DSCR, which initially I was like, oh my God, DSCR, I'm going to pay more closing costs. It's going to be more expensive to acquire the loan. But it was relatively about the same. I don't know when during the last year, there was a turn in which DSCR became quite competitive, even
Mhm.
offering a little less than conventional rates for
Yeah.
for that. So
Yeah,
it,
that's one thing I'm gonna look at as well. I have one here that I talked to. I gotta follow up again, and kind of see, okay, where are we at? How much are you gonna ask? Stuff like that. And then and see how that goes. I also talked to, well, got in touch with a hard money lender and see that avenue, so that way I could see all my options. So when I go and maybe find another similar property, then I'm more like prepared than with this deal, because I definitely was winging it. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get it, and then I'll figure out how to get the money to like rehab, or just, just get a loan or something
Yeah,
myself. I
we
was
have
just
to
gonna,
do a deep dive on this deal because it was so creative and so like
yeah.
you definitely have to make sure that you get all of the things sorted out. Like the layout of it was very funky and very good
Hmm.
to rehab, but there was like a lot of potential, especially because you told me there was a university close by.
Hmm.
There's a like church also that is close by. I think I look at it. We were taking a look at it as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Gonna do either an episode, or maybe we'll just do the live that turns into episode. I just gotta get all like the informations for it, so we could go through it. I have videos, I have um the blueprints, but I'm not sure if I could actually share that. I don't think so. So so maybe I could just give like I'll give a rough idea from the videos and the pictures that they had on there, because it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool property, kind of. Like I said, I was telling Lynn, I was bummed out that I lost it, but sometimes I am a very strong believer that when you feel like resistance, or like some things are a little bit harder to get, which was with this property. There was a lot of going back and forth. I had to wait a long time for the blueprints. Then on top of that, I had to wait to be able to call the city and check on the permits and all that stuff. So there was like a lot of resistance. So I feel like maybe it was just like the universe telling me, like, you know what, not yet. Like, maybe this is too much for you, and I don't know what's going on with my freaking camera. It's always every time. I don't know what to do with it. And then on top of that, the sun is in my face because I put my desk in a wrong spot. So later today, I'm gonna have to move
So that
again.
I have this problem. I'm right in front of like two big windows, and like across the seasons, some of the times, like if the sun is right on my face, especially at like 5 p.m.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to figure out, probably be on that wall instead, which I didn't want to be, but oh
Yeah.
well.
But going back to the original topic, the $200 billion mortgage bonds, I don't actually foresee. I think a lot of these things are um, just try to get a raise out of people, get a raise out of.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure that rates are actually going to come down this year. I'm not like, maybe if they do come down, it will be like a quarter of a point, like right now 6.0, right? 6.1, I think right now, like 5.75 or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't truly believe that we're going to have like a huge drop, but if they're going to put me around, they're going to put me around. I'm going to start refinancing all my properties.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Like, if I'm wrong, that's all. That's awesome, because then I'll go, yeah, refinance everything. But yeah, like, I don't think it's going to be such a significant change to where, like, if somebody is out there waiting for like the perfect mortgage rate, or hoping that they're going to get down to like the 3.75 or whatever back a few years ago, like, that's definitely not going to happen. So if you're like one of those people that's waiting to get into real estate investing, trying to wait for that, like, you know, just go with the flow, like, go with what is available right now, and if the numbers work, then they work, and then still go for it, because Lynn and I, we talk about how there's still a cost of missed opportunity. There's a cost, there's a loss of waiting, and that's potential income, cash flow, and all that you're losing out on because you're waiting for the perfect mortgage rate. So yeah, definitely don't wait on that.
mhm.
I'm trying to think what other thing I saw. I did see, because I was looking at that they want to relax the regulations on building, so that way, like, more homes are built faster and easier or whatever, because they don't got to jump through hoops. And I wanted to see what what you think of that, because I definitely like, I'm like,
I think like in California, there's like overregulation
mhm,
for sure. Like just getting permits is like a month's process. So I'm interested to see how they're relaxing the regulations out here because like we're like our own little thing, right? Like we
mhm.
whatever the federal says, and then the state does whatever the state wants, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
what kind of regulations? Because I feel like there is a lot of room here to build, even though it is expensive to build, even though it's time consuming to build and all of those things. But there are like the ADU play here, like in single family homes. If you're a small investor and then you want to invest in California in your backyard, and you don't want to go to state, and you're willing to like self manage and all those things, like in one little single family plot you can technically have two additional units, right?
Mhm.
And with SB9 you can have an additional house actually. So it's kind of crazy that you can do all of that in like the one single family plot. But I'm not in the commercial space. I don't know how hard it is to like acquire land and develop it and grade
Mhm.
it and like easement and all that. So I'm assuming that's gonna take a long time. We have like a condo structure that's gonna be apartments, like just maybe less than a mile from my house. It's
Mhm.
been in construction for like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So like I guess it takes, significantly longer time to build for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think so because I'm trying to remember how long, uh, because I was in Poway, over there by San Diego, and 2 new buildings were, and I think it did take like 2 years, probably
Mhm.
because I kept seeing like, "Oh, they're gonna do something there. They're gonna do something there." And then, but I think once they go through all those humps, then all of a sudden they like pop up kind of pretty fast. Like next
Mhm.
thing you know, they were already like, matter of fact, I was gonna try to move into one of them. I was like, "Oh, interesting. 2 years ago, like, or 3 years ago, like there was nothing there, and then now that I have to like go back to renting, now it's available." But the only reason I couldn't get it because I still had my dog and they didn't allow German shepherds. So I was like, okay. And so so we moved to another one. So that was that. And then in that same area, I remember going on a walk towards the very back, and they had like a whole bunch of like lots from like a old rundown houses and lots that were back there. And I guess a builder had bought them, but it was just, they just fenced it off, and I guess they were going through all the regulations before they could start building and stuff. So um I think I'm a little bit it depends, because a lot of times most of the problem is that the government's really bad at doing anything with paperwork or anything like that. So like things sit at somebody's desk and they'll do it when they get to it. The processes is always crap. And I know because I worked in government. So like there's a lot of things that's like we could do this better. That's why this takes long. I'm still waiting on a paycheck that it's been like 6 months now, and still working through that. And I know how it works, and I know it's such an easy thing to do, but to get to that point, it's a lot of paperwork and waiting on somebody to look at my paperwork and all that stuff. But I think the only issue I have is with the rules and regulations that we have right now. Like the builders are not doing the best and
Yeah.
trying to hide stuff. Like if you're like going to like TikTok or even on YouTube, you'll see when like these home inspectors go to these new construction builds, and like they really try to just do whatever just to get the house done. So I can imagine if the rules are, if they're doing that right now, like now with less regulation, it's probably going to be even worse, which means that as real estate investors, if you're going for these newer houses in a few years or whatever, something that to think about, that a lot of corners have been cut and stuff. So That's
Yeah.
my only thing about that, that I just don't trust the builders to do the right thing. Like zero integrity on their part.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna be like relaxed, meaning you're not gonna be as supervised, or relaxed, meaning we're gonna accelerate the process of permitting. Like, I don't know. I don't know what exactly that means. But like it took 8 months for me to get plans approved for my ADU,
Mm-hmm.
7 months to actually do the ADU. So that's like a year and a half of
Mm.
building a 400 square feet EDU. Should have taken that long, probably not. But there was like some stipulations because power lines and stuff like that. But also that was pretty long. But I know sign up for it, so I already know. Like, I educated myself before going into like, this could take a year, this could take
Mm-hmm. You had the expectation. You knew what to expect.
averages are. It's not gonna stop me from
Yeah.
doing it.
So BuzzTune says moving your portfolio to LLC. Could you talk more about the thought process and how it's going? Because you have LLCs.
Yeah, so I started an LLC last year, but I didn't do anything with it because
That's me. That's me. I have two. Well, three technically. But
yeah,
yeah.
because we're growing, so we got to think about liability. And even though by purchasing my homes and having umbrella insurance and have home insurance and all those things, I do want to move all the portfolio into an LLC as well, because I'm also opening a new company this
Mm-hmm.
year for my own practice. So like I need to think about more legal stuff more so now, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then so. Uh, there's the way that a lot of people do it, and there's the right way, right? A lot of people do when the home is personally on your own name, and then you want to just put in an LLC. You could quit claim the property into an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the banks will consider that a transfer of title, right? And they could technically call the do on sell clause that all of the loans have if you have a loan
Mm-hmm.
on the property. They could call it, could technically. But from what I hear from different bankers, it's like they don't like to do that. If the LLC is more than 51% on your name, meaning you
Mm-hmm.
don't have any other partners in the LLC, then it's going to be fine. They're not gonna make you do on sale clause or refinance or whatever. Like, but the right way to do it is to like replace the loan. So like what I'm doing right now is like, I have a property I bought cash, a rehab cash. Now I'm cashing out refi into a DSCR to put it under an LLC. And then also I have another property that is conventional, that is at a 7.5, I think, interest rate, that I'm gonna refinance and to put it in an LLC at a 6.6, I think. I think that's the last quote that I got. So that is the process that I'm doing right now. I'm not quit claiming from my name into LLC without the bank knowing. I'm like actually refinancing
Mm-hmm.
slowly. But also I have four properties under seller finance, so technically they're not under my name. I mean, there's no loan. That shows because the seller finance loan person is a person, right, not a bank. So it doesn't show under my credit score. When they pull my credit score, it doesn't show that I have a property
Mm-hmm.
there because it's like a private mortgage to a person. So
Yeah, yeah, that's why I was trying to go for this seller finance because I wasn't sure about my debt to income ratio right now. It's it's on my to do list to go through, and I was like, all right, let me see where I'm at, and then call a lender and see um what's going on with that. But I might just like still maybe try the DSCR route. And then I called, I remember sometime last year, I called two of the lenders for of my mortgages, and I asked them, I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm trying to do." I was like, "Are y'all going to call to do the um,
also class,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, that." I can't think right now. The sun's in my face, frying my brain, I guess. But yeah, and both of them said no, but I definitely am going to call again, and because that was just like a customer rep, I
Mhm.
think. So I want to make sure I talk to somebody a little bit higher just to double check. But I don't. So far, two of them had said no. I haven't done it yet because I was gonna do like what you said, just like transfer it really quick over. But other things that I need to think about is because I have like the leases and then my property manager. So I gotta talk to him and see, okay, so if I switch it over, like what's all the logistics? Like, do I have to create
Mhm.
new leases? Do I have to like what do I gotta do? Like, and then obviously a new probably a contract between the property manager to the LLC. So yeah, all of that is what I have to ask, and what costs is going to be associated with maybe doing leases up again or whatever. Or and I have Section 8 housing tenants. So what does that mean with that once I make the switch? So that's a little bit of research on my to-do list for January/February, so I could actually use these LLCs because I have two uh um I did the setup that most people do where you have like the holding company and LLC and then so on. So yeah. So we'll see. That's on my to-do list this year to move them over to get the one for liability and two so I could go out there and get more mortgages or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Yeah, so a lot of research.
Many good reasons to move into an LLC. Not only that liability, which it should be number one, right? But also your business has the debt now, so your name is clear, right? Technically,
Mhm.
and if I had like really good interest rates, like 4 or 5 or whatever, then I would consider doing the quit claim deed into the LLC. But I don't. I have pretty shitty rates, like 7.5, 7.3, 7.1. So if I can take a fix, like a rate in interest rate fix
Mhm.
adjustment, and put it into an LLC, then might as well do that. Like even though I'm
Mhm.
closing cost again, it's negligible to me because my loans are smaller too. Like I understand like when your loans are bigger, the closing costs like take more, right? So
Yeah.
they're like 100K, under 100K. So my cost of like purchasing points or doing any of that is like $1,000, $2,000. So it's the significantly lost. And everybody knows, no, not everybody knows. I shouldn't assume everybody knows like the interest rate that you paid up front in the first, second year, your negligible principal you have paid down, on the
Mhm.
on that loan. So
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I gotta see because yeah, definitely. I think my recent one is at 7.5. So, but that one I will probably we'll see how I could get that one out. And then the first one, I think this is year 5 that I own. So probably towards the end of this year have some equity that I might be interested, but also I have a good interest rate on that one. So so it's kind of like so maybe I would look into like maybe a HELOC or something. I don't know. We'll see how I
yeah.
can get some money out from there. And then yeah, like I think the other thing somebody mentioned was like the insurance rates might go up if you move it into a LLC. I don't know how accurate that is, especially since I think you still well, I don't know. Yeah, I think you have like the insurance still likes to have a person or something. I don't know
Mhm,
how that
mhm.
is.
So what I do is like I'm the first payer and my LLC is second payer. So I
Mhm.
still get the insurance because I don't have any partners, right? So
Mhm.
the insurance gets paid out to me, and if my company is also additional insured.
Okay. Got
So
it.
that's how I go around it. I don't know if that's the right way, but I am the owner of the company, so I get to call the shot.
Yeah, I get to. Yeah, that's gonna be, and I think that should be fine for I think liability. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that because um I think that is not public knowledge, I guess. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for people in the comments, do you notice when you purchase a homes and then you put your home insurance under your name or only your LLC name? Whoever is in the comments.
yeah. The other thing I need to also like look into another insurance company because this one has been like going up. So that's on my to-do list this year to try to bring that down because that's kind of going, um, driving up my mortgage payments a little bit. Um, and then I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, like those are all my to-do list.
Have you done the raising your deductible to make sure that you're getting the best rate? I don't know. This is a little controversial and some people, but my deductibles and different insurances are higher. Some of my deductibles are as high as $5,000 because
Mhm.
I am under the I subscribe to the thinking like if I do a claim, it's going to be when the house is like burned down. Because if I do a claim, then the likelihood of me getting more expensive insurance in the future for future properties is going to go up. So
Okay.
I am raising my deductibles on the majority of my properties, unless it doesn't make sense, like it doesn't really change the premium that I have,
Mhm.
then I won't raise it. But if it does dramatically change, it saves me like $300 a year or something like that,
Yeah.
then I'll raise it to $5,000. So whatever happens in my property, I will cover it rather than use the insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something to think about, especially since most of these insurance companies don't even want to cover like basic stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're like, no, that's in you anyway. So I don't think that's a bad strategy because yeah, trying to get something paid from these insurance companies is a pain in the ass anyways. So yeah, I think that's realistic that you're probably going to have to pay a whole bunch out of pocket before they actually pay anything. They're just going to do the big major things.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah, I'll have something to. I'll go ask and call because um, and see if we could work something out. If not, try to find
Yeah.
other
I
people.
like buy around every year, like every time it renews, increase it.
Yeah.
I'm like calling, oh, can we decrease it? No, okay, let me go buy something else. I'm like, I have like five different insurance agents.
Yeah. I gotta do that more. I've been too like busy and I forget. I need to set timer reminders on my phone to remind me because I always miss it. And then yeah, it's just something I gotta do this year.
Optimize.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I think that's the only news that I could think of off the top of my head of
Are
like.
you excited for Vegas? It's almost like 4 weeks, I think.
Yes, I am. I am. I'm super excited. I'm trying to think like let's see, February if it's chilly, if it's I'm sure at night it's in the night it's cold, but during the day I don't know.
For people that are watching this video, there's a one rental at a time conference in Vegas in February 14 and 15, I think, or 13 and 14, one of those days. But it's the Valentine's Day weekend, and we actually are going. I think tickets, I think they're still on sale, but I think they're closing down in like 5 days. I think they're gonna stop selling tickets. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like I'm gonna meet Violetta in person, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna share a room.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna learn some real estate and hopefully interview some people.
Yeah, that would be cool to find some people to do and like I'll bring this we'll bring our stuff and see if we could do some like uh on screen podcast or something. I don't know. Or maybe live or something. That'd probably be easier. Just do some lives.
Mhm.
And, but yeah, I'm excited and learn and all that stuff. So
We should do like not trivia game, but like rapid fire questions. We will tell us their worst experiences in real estate. That's always fun.
yeah, like what's the worst thing that happened to you? And come relive that. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're gonna call it, guys, and then so we'll try to come back next week. And if you haven't already done so, please check us out on Real Estate Jefas.
Yes. Awesome. Bye.